In the context of the Vietnam War, Operation Dewey Canyon became one of the last major operations conducted by the United States Marine Corps. The operation took place from January 22 to March 18, 1969, in the northwestern region of South Vietnam, particularly in the Da Krong Valley and near the A Shau Valley, a strategic area bordering Laos that was an important part of North Vietnam's logistical infiltration routes. Led by the 9th Marine Regiment, the operation aimed to destroy supply bases and distribution routes belonging to the People's Army of Vietnam, PAVN. The operational area was known to be extremely challenging. Steep mountains, dense jungle, and extreme weather posed constant difficulties. To overcome these conditions, Marine forces established a series of fire support bases and relied on air mobility using helicopters. For nearly 2 months, American forces conducted aggressive patrols, ambushes, and intensive search operations. They discovered large quantities of weapons stockpiles, ammunition, food supplies, and logistical facilities belonging to the PAVN. Tactically, the operation was considered a success. More than 1,000 PAVN troops were reported killed, while hundreds of tons of war materiel were seized or destroyed. However, American forces also suffered significant losses, with hundreds of casualties, including both killed and wounded. Although the operation was considered a success on the battlefield, its overall impact on the course of the Vietnam War was limited. North Vietnam's supply routes were not completely cut off, and their ability to wage guerrilla warfare, blending into the environment and continuing the fight, remained intact. This highlights the complexity of the war, where tactical victories did not always translate into strategic success. Operation Dewey Canyon was not just a record of troop movements and casualty figures. It was a reflection of human resilience under extreme conditions. Behind the military strategies and official reports were stories of soldiers stepping into dense jungles filled with uncertainty, facing an almost invisible enemy, and struggling against a natural environment that was as dangerous as the war itself. The struggle in the remote valleys of Vietnam showed that war is not only about firepower, but also about mental resilience and a sense of purpose. Every step forward across muddy, fog-covered battlefields became a symbol of determination, that even in the harshest conditions, people can keep moving forward. On the other hand, the operation also revealed the limits of armed struggle. Successfully destroying enemy logistics did not automatically bring the conflict to an end. This showed that in a complex and confusing war like the Vietnam War, the struggle was not only fought on the battlefield, but also in ideology, public support, and long-term resilience. From a broader perspective, Dewey Canyon serves as a reminder that courage is not always synonymous with victory. Sometimes, the greatest struggle is simply being able to say, "We did our best." Battle is not only about conquering terrain and enemies, but about enduring uncertainty, about staying alive, continuing to move forward even when the outcome is unclear, and standing firm in the midst of the confusing Vietnam War at that time, whose purpose was not always clear, where there were sometimes questions like, "What am I fighting for?" Operation Dewey Canyon is a clear example of how a military operation can be tactically successful yet fail to produce long-term strategic impact. It reflects the complexity of the Vietnam War, where modern military power faced challenges that were not only physical, but also structural and ideological in nature. Ultimately, the operation leaves an important lesson, that in the history of war, True victory is not measured solely by what is captured or destroyed, but by an understanding of the limits of power, the meaning of sacrifice, and the human dimension of struggle.